I literally don't know what's up with
You
that.
don't know because your name is Venice. That's what it is. You logged in and we found your secret is out. Your secret account is Venice, and that's what it is. John,
It's like
John Venice Ho. That is your secret name on the internet.
You should have seen Stu's face. We're sitting here when he goes, "Who the hell's Venice?" And he goes, "Maybe it's John." I'm like, "Venice," and there you are. Bright, smiley, shining John with the name Venice.
Let me just check.
I thought it was weird when I was logging in. I saw it down there, and I was like, "I wonder what that means." I was trying to quickly get on. I was trying to type in the meeting link and all that stuff. And what's this Venice thing? Is it a setting?
As I'm logging in to check your accounts, John, it is very noticeable on the YouTubes that a Venice person's always saying John Ho's really fantastic. And making me wonder right now that the algorithm. Venice said that John is correct. Why does Rob and Stu smell so much? And I'm like, wait, I think I see a pattern now. Venice is also saying that John such a fabulous job doing his top 5 things that he likes. I think I'm just gonna tie things together, John, in a nice bow.
Dude, you got totally busted.
This is his burner account. That's it. Welcome everyone to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast, an investigation of John and his secret account and what he's doing. I think it's Venice Mo, because that's really quiet and
Mo Venice.
Mo Venice.
It could be part of my email, which is vanishing son. I don't know. That's weird.
That's vanishing so much. The other part vanishes. That's an impressive email. I don't know.
Well, you're allowed more than 5 characters, as evidenced by my 8-character name. So I don't know what happened to the rest of your vanishing email. Venice.
It may be the rest of his comments vanishing from the internet momentarily.
Hey, can I buy a vowel, Venice?
I don't think people are not interested in this portion of this.
The gimmick. I don't think I would want to talk about anything else now. I think we're just going to keep on talking about Venice. What else is Venice and his adventure?
I think what's more entertaining is when I was signing in and you guys are like, "Oh shit, did someone else just grab the link and then signing in randomly?"
It was fine.
Or what spam bots figure out how to drop into people's lives.
To be fair, I would have loved
chats
to get
chats and stuff. That's going to be nuts. That's going to happen.
To get the thoughts of Vanessa on this episode of Boba Fett. So either way, it would have been fine. I would have asked Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa's personal assistant. That's why I have access.
I want to know what Venice really
his or her accounts.
Do you think he's got like, "Hello, this is Venice"?
I thought Venice was a more deep voice. That's why I was thinking before that Venice is a deeper character,
but like a Russian badass. My name is Venice.
Yes,
I come to get you.
Yeah, where he would go "Duh," and
"Duh" when he gets kicked in the nuts. "Duh, you got me in my Venice."
I think John, his alter ego, after watching a bunch of these 80s/90s movies with the Russian bad guys. So that's his new character that he's imbued into him as a Russian 80s like gangster / Dolph Lundgren, clearly from.
It's really unfortunate your birthday just passed, John, a few weeks ago, because I think I would like to get you a t-shirt saying "My name is Venice."
We can just get mugs made.
Venice mugs.
Venice mugs or
keeping this, or are we cutting this as a separate bit? This is going to be uploaded to
this
YouTube.
Is uploaded.
Who is Venice?
Who is Venice?
This is like the next Christopher Nolan movie. Who is Venice?
Anyways, welcome to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. I am Stu Pei, your host. With me, as always, is the owner and proprietor of Heroes World, John Ho, aka Venice Mo. Yep. And Mr. Rob Gadet, say hello.
Hey, I have no nickname. I'm just who I am, John, obviously. Got busted.
Yeah, it's as we discussed before, Rob has alter ego is Guy Incognito, but that's a whole different story as we continue on. So welcome as we talk about episode 4, the slog that is Book of Boba Fett, The Gathering Storm. Episode 4 of 7 of Boba Fett. We're at the titular
7.
point. 7 episodes in season 1,
We got 3
apparently,
left.
right?
We got 3 left. All right.
3 left.
Bring it on.
3 left.
Wow.
It
Venice is
is-
doing well in math.
Look at this. This is the
He had
easiest
to
way to
use
do
his
math.
fingers.
Venice, if you pay a little bit more, you can see him use his toes to count, and that's extra. So that's how it works. But nonetheless, we are moving on to talk about this episode because it's really been an ebb and flow. I think the
Okay.
I think the Patton
You go on.
I think the Patton Oswalt joke he made a few years ago on one of his comedy albums about Star Wars. He just loves what he loves. He doesn't care where it came from. Like he doesn't know. He doesn't want to know the backstory of Darth Vader. He doesn't want to know the backstory of Boba Fett. He doesn't want to know this. He loves what he loves, and this is all that matters to him. And we are getting to this point in Boba Fett where, especially this episode, is a lot of like building blocks of like a character that, frankly, the mystique and veil was there, and now it's removing the veil, and it's just like the wizard from The Wizard of Oz. Do not look behind the curtain because you will be disappointed. So, John, give us your thoughts on this week's episode. It's a lot of things happening.
So as far as disappointing episodes go, this was okay. I think I didn't mind. Like last episode, I was okay with. This one, I'm of similar vein. I don't love it. I don't hate it. If you were to ask me, would I rather rewatch Mandalorian? The answer is going to be yes. And it's not to say that this is I hate this. I'm just saying it's not. It's kind of It's like Stu kind of
Sure.
Yeah, Stu kind of danced around it with his ebb and flow metaphor. But there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't need to see here. Like, did I need to see how Fennec gets saved?
We'll talk about that momentarily.
Yeah. Not really, but yeah. Overall, I liked the latter half of the episode better than the earlier part, and now I feel like they're finally getting to where I actually wanted to get to this series. So they do cover the whole part where he sits on the throne, and they so it feels like this is like right after that portion there. So it's almost like we watched this weird little prequel thing that maybe is skippable, which may be up for debate or whatever. But yeah, in general thoughts, I thought it was all right.
Rob?
It's marginally better than last week's episode. I admittedly, when we got, we're once again, I say this every week. Oh, here we go, another flashback. But this one actually made sense. Like, as John said, at least it brought you up to the point where you kind of said, oh, this is the reason for this show. This is the reason why he hooked up with Fennec. There were the musical tones. I heard him twice in the show, at the beginning and at the end of The Mandalorian, for you to know that this is where it's syncing up on that episode 5 or 6 of Mandalorian season 2. So I guess this episode was more purposeful than the other ones. But that said, it is a chore. Like, I don't look forward to watching this every week. I'm like, oh. And I'm looking forward to deep diving a bit more into some of the issues with this episode.
John, how would you?
What do we use to overall?
What are you rating this out of 10? Out of 10?
Out of 10, I think last episode I gave a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn this up a notch, just because I feel like it's getting somewhere where I want it to be, but it's not going to be much of a notch. It's a 6.5, I think.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think last week I was a 6, and I would give it a 6.5, and we'll probably discuss the reasons why later.
I'm a little more generous. I'm gonna say it's a 7.
Ooh,
a little more 7.
Still got a whole point.
I think, and we get to the spoiler territory momentarily, but there are aspects of this episode I really enjoyed. It was a slog to get to them. I feel like that's what this whole show is about. It's about Klingon pain sticks. You got to walk, get electrocuted. You got to like shake it off, walk, get electrocuted, shake it off. You keep on going. And that definitely was the rhythm and feel of this episode. There are moments where I'm just like, what is happening? And then I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I'm like, what is happening? Oh, that was really cool. And that's the rhythm of this show. So it fits a tone of a Western, which I keep on going back to, like, oh, it's like a Western, like
But a really
like
shitty
Mandalorian.
Western.
But like,
yeah, you have to explain to me this tone of
like the last season of Bonanza. Like they're just phoning it in at this standpoint. They're like, all right, let's just. There's another dance happening at the saloon.
Oh, Michael
Let's just-
Landon is once again taking another drink.
Oh boy, another card shark is in the town, and we have to do this
Right.
again. So, all right, we're gonna go into spoilers because there's a lot of stuff to discuss and go into details. So please, if you haven't seen it, jump off or pause it and come back.
What we say is not going to make a difference to whether or not you're going to like it. That's
Is there anything that can be spoiled per se as you get to this type?
Well, we'll talk about it. And nonetheless, it's just for some people care. If you
Sure.
don't, join us on the journey as we talk about just like Voldemort, a word that cannot be said anymore. John, what are your thoughts on a ship that has a new name called Fire Spray?
Okay, my fire spray. That's my Boba Fett voice. This ship, it's cool to see it in action. I don't know. Like I don't really care for this ship. It's never been one of my favorites. I wonder how long they're gonna have to do like this kind of like all vertical thing. I think the whole
This is
I think the
the
whole
ship.
use of it. I didn't mind the ship. What was dumb is when they go to the Sarlacc pit and they use the ship to like how ridiculous is Boba Fett that he thought he somehow survived the Sarlacc pit, got out, and his armor is at the bottom for some reason. Like the only way he survived, he has the armor, right? He got the armor looted from him afterwards. Yeah. Why in the world does he think it's in the Sarlacc pit? Like whoever robbed him afterwards, he thought tossed it back in, or is his logic somehow that he got out because we saw the interior of the Sarlacc pit now? There's no way in hell he got out without the armor. So it's kind of ridiculous that he thinks he has to go in there and get it. So I don't know. Like, or did he think that the Sarlacc pit spit him out and then took off his armor with its tentacles and sucked it back into the pit? I don't know. What,
John,
yeah, I'm okay with shit.
We come on a Sarlacc pit. You're in a daze. You've been there for a while. You probably didn't have water. Clearly, he's melted under acid.
It makes no sense that he thinks it's at the bottom of the thing.
In the state of mind to be like in your full 100% capacity, brain capacity, like, oh, where I left my stuff. Like you've been fighting, I don't know how long he was in the pit for. It didn't really give us time. That's the one thing about the show. We have no idea how long he's been anything because he didn't grow facial hair. He cannot grow a beard. Meanwhile, any other Boba Fett clone can. So maybe this one has a non-facial cue, like he's not allowed to.
Maybe the Sarlacc shaved his beard on the way up.
Or maybe the acid
spit him upwards.
So he can't grow a beard because he can never, like every other version of this character can grow a beard except for him. So maybe the genetic.
But anyway, sorry, back to your question, Stu, which is the fire what the hell is it called? Fire spray gunship. It's nowhere near as cool as the Razor Quest as a set. Like you can't even have it as a set right now because it has to be in this weird orientation. So the closest thing you have is
the Lego version works. You can put it flat or up, and you can have a stand.
Yeah, okay, but they're always gonna have it either like floating upwards to try and create something. So you don't have the cool cargo bay, you don't have the sleeping area, you don't have the prisoner section, all this type of cool stuff that the Razor Crest have. So I'm interested to see how they can try and get there. But yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about the name change? Does it bother you? You don't even give a shit?
Technically, like, well, it's not really the name. I keep, as soon as they keep on saying it, I just keep on thinking of the joke from Thor Ragnarok. It's like where they're talking about like, where are the prisoners? Oh, the people without the job. He's like, oh yeah. It's like, what's the word? He's kind of saying like, the whole thing about that. That's I think of that whole bit where he's asking the head jailer of like, where are all the people in chains or whatever. It's like, oh, you mean it's like, no, don't say it that way. But where are the the workers who are whatever the bit was. But I think at the standpoint is maybe, I don't know, I guess in terms of the name, whether that maybe he's changing it because he spent all that time with the Tusken Raiders. But it I don't know. We'll go back to it. Rob, do you care about
it? Is the class of ship though?
It is the class name of the ship.
Yeah, so he's just calling it by the class of.
He's just calling it a Corvette or whatever the name of the It's he's just calling his car by the make and model, but not the name of his car. So that's
I'd rather he just call it a vet. That'd be cooler.
wow. Yeah. Rob, do you care about any of that?
About the ship name? No, I mean, like, it doesn't. Whatever.
I couldn't give a shit.
Thanks, Venice.
Thanks, Venice.
I mean, the Lego, listen, let's just call it, it was always referred to as Slave One. That was the name of the ship. Lego changed it when they released their set to the Boba Fett spaceship. They didn't want to call it Slave One. And then,
sure.
And then Disney, and obviously they're just refusing to now call it, although my understanding is on the Star Wars website and everything else, it still has references to its original name. Okay, whatever. It makes no difference to me. I don't really care. I just think it's kind of weird that they wouldn't somehow acknowledge it in some capacity. I don't know. I thought it would be kind of neat just to say, oh, yeah, you know, instead of just glossing over it, just to be like, this is what it was. And
yeah,
Fennec can say, what? That's a stupid name. And he's like, well, it's a fire spray gunship. I don't know what else to call it. Like, you know, anyways, that's just me.
Word for word dialogue ever goes super off.
Yeah.
Really on this show. Now I will say though, here's the one thing we've always talked about the fact that Tamara Morrison, it looks exceptionally old for the character he's playing, because my understanding is this took place not that long after the events of Return of the Jedi. However, I'm fairly certain in this episode, Boba Fett says he was in the Sarlacc pit for some years.
Feel like they say that the events of this are 5 to 8 years after Return of the Jedi.
So he's in the Sarlacc pit for at 5 or 6 years.
No, because he is
possible. How's he gonna eat?
No. I think the way the timeline works is that he was with the Tusken Raiders for 5 years.
So that means but then that means he was in the Sarlacc pit for a couple of years, because
it's impossible. He was in there for like a fortnight.
No, but this is what I'm trying to say is that I'm fairly certain he said he was in the Sarlacc pit for some years or a couple of years. He was stuck down there, left for dead. If that's, listen, and I know somebody's gonna say, well, you don't understand the physiology of the Sarlacc. You know,
he's human. He needs water and he needs food. How does he do that?
So I don't understand how that whole thing. I don't get it. I don't understand. He said his Vesper
flashback. Yeah, he got water.
His Vesper armor was the one that saved him. I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Stomach acid didn't disintegrate his white jumpsuit. At any rate, whatever. This, so that kind of irritated me. I will say it. I've said it time and time again, and I'll never stop saying it. This show looks crisp. It looks gorgeous. The filming done is spectacular. I really like his interaction with Ming-Na Wen and Fennec. It was interesting to see that he took her to get this. The enhancements done, cybernetic enhancements, took her to some like weird place, and
a mod club,
bunch of guys listening to trap music, which whatever.
EDM, baby, the music of the future.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the Daft Punk, but here's the one thing I thought was really interesting is being put in that tank rejuvenated his skin, but also, guys, it brought back his eyebrows. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Boba Fett had no eyebrows, and at the end of the show, he was sporting a thick pair of eyebrows like our friend Vanessa down below. So I was quite impressed with that. I joke about this type of stuff, but the reality is that my attention is drawn to that shit more than the effects of this show as a whole. I'm very happy it's only 7 episodes. I don't see what the point of this was. I think I had said in a private chat that we had, or maybe it was to somebody else, that the problem with these streaming companies is they just keep churning out content in the hopes of bringing in eyeballs to be like to say, oh well, I gotta pay because I want to see what this is, and it doesn't have to be good anymore. It's quantity over quality, and I think that that's a problem. And I would really like it if Disney's making more than enough money that they could probably just reel back a little bit and be like, let's focus on the quality aspect again.
Yeah, I based on timelines from the books and all the other things that have been canon and no longer canon and whatnot, it was only a few days that he was in the Sarlacc pit. So that is what it is. And then he would have, like I said before, spent 5 or 4 years with the Tuscans. Again, we couldn't have got a beard, like something to even.
I swear he said in this episode he was in a Sarlacc pit for a couple of years.
But
wrong.
like I feel like I think that was what he mentioned when he was in Tuscans, because I liked, to be fair, that conversation with Fennec was actually a really nice kind of back and forth where he was like, he goes, the Sand People, I was with them, and she's like, whoa, they're Tuscan Raiders. And it was kind of like one of those things where he's doing the test to see how she is, and she's like, are you kidding me? Like, these Raiders couldn't take out those warriors. So again, I think there was this verbal kind of duel that they were doing to see whether they were a good match in terms of why would Fennec want to align himself with Boba Fett. So I did like that little quip about that, and just kind of the relationship building with Ming-Na. Like, everything she did was perfect in terms of just like the act. She does a shot and she just stands there, does that look, and then things happen. I'm like, just cut the check, man.
But she's more engrossing.
Everything you do.
Right, but she's more engrossing to watch than Boba Fett.
Oh yeah,
they're giving her a lot of the monologues and stuff that I feel
as they should
might have been originally written for Fett, and then she's giving speeches at the table. But yeah, Stu, like you said, that whole dialogue of the setting up of the tribe, and like, oh, I'm going to give you something that you just working for people is not going to give you. I think that's the part where I like where it's getting there. I am concerned that they're making her too badass, because once you start making all your characters invincible,
it becomes Fast 9.
Yeah. Then it's not exciting. Yeah, like right now, I don't feel like she can get hurt right now. So if she actually takes a hit now, I don't know if that's going to be believable.
Like your boy Tyrese, he can't take a hit.
No, he did. He got his ass kicked. Tyrese is one of the guys who gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, but somehow he survived that car crash. And he's like, I survived. I'm a god.
But he's the one that points it out.
You know what it is? If you remember, you guys ever watched that movie, Stu would have, Vice, about Dick Cheney and the guy who was playing George W. Bush. And he's kind of like a clown.
You mean Thanos?
No, he wasn't George W. Bush. It was the guy from Moon.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2. Sorry.
Right. So
same Marvel character, Marvel people. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so Dick Cheney is the one that's kind of pulling the strings, and he's the one that's leaning into George W. Bush. And Bush is like, I don't know, what do you want to do? And he's like, I think we need to look at, some sanctions. He goes, yeah, sanctions. Let's do that. And this is what it kind of reminded me of. Fennec reminded me like of Dick Cheney. And Boba Fett was like, was Boba Fett is George W. Bush. He has no real smarts as to what he needs to do to literally, like Godfather, to bring the families of the boroughs together. And Fennec is the one that's doing it all.
He is. I have a very, very, in my mind, this is very early Dominic Toretto. Like, my familia, my family. This is what matters. My tribe.
But he's his tribe.
But it took him till Fast 9 before he became a genius.
And a quasi astronaut.
And he was an astronaut. Vin Diesel. He
was close to it. He was an astrophysicist at that point.
He was the smartest man, and he had 3 plays ahead. But by Fast 9, he was not only a weapons expert, he was also a genius. And I feel like that's what Boba Fett's turning into slowly. It's about tribe, it's about getting people together. And I think that this is a very much the same idea they're doing for Mandalorian. It's like uniting people together. And now he's grabbing the Sand People potentially, and the Mandalorian, and these houses to fight off the Pike Syndicate.
Oh my god!
As well,
it's Unite the Seven. It's like the Justice League. Unite the Seven.
And again, like, it cannot be said enough. It's the Crimson Dawn. Like, this is what they're building up to, where it's going to be the Crimson Dawn showing up. And God, I hope that they have the money to pay for her to show up for one episode, just to be this is what's going on. I'm a badass. Deal with it. Like, let's just shell out the money. I don't know how they're going to CGI to make her look older, because she's.
Wait, who are we talking about?
We're talking about the leader of it, who oh God, why is my name Amelia Clark?
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because she
Khaleesi?
should be in it, but I guess
Right.
she's too young, so maybe they got to get someone older to play her. But like, really, it should be her who is holding the
Right.
puppet strings, because I think the episode they're layering just like the themes of like the Mandalorian theme, and then they layered the theme
Mhm.
song for the Pike, the Crimson Dawn in the episode. So like, I'm assuming they're coming, or this could be my Mephisto moment, and you'll tell me I'm wrong later on, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
Maybe.
Like, they have 3 episodes to go. They got to really do action now. Like, they built up this episode called Gathering Storm. Like, it was a montage of like Boba Fett going around killing people. It's like, the Sarlacc, I'm gonna drop the same weapon that we used in episode 2. I'm gonna kill all these bikers. The bikers from John's biker group that Venice belongs to, the
Yeah.
sons of Tatooine.
That's the
So-
Fatweenie.
Sons of Tatooine, and we're at this part. It was really, I don't know, Rob. At the end when they're sitting, the Godfather style, I just sat
Yeah.
there going, man, they're trying real hard to do this, like Godfather
know.
style, like the families. Like Phil Lamar was crushing it as always. And I thought it was interesting that they did the piece of like, he didn't sit at the top of the chair, he sat with all of the generals on right on top of the Rancor pit, which again turned out to have a Rancor. So like, that's the thing, like it every time I'm like, oh man, the show's slowing down, it's like boom, I'm like, oh here's Rancor, this thing, and then it slows, and it just keeps me just enough to keep me engaged. But
Well, you're making it sound like this show for you is the equivalent of a pixie stick. It's
100%,
like
100%.
Yeah.
like run around for a bit and you're like, ah! You know, that's truly like what it is, because there are moments when you see things, you're like, oh, this is really cool the way they're doing, and then it's like, oh man, what are we doing at this standpoint? Like, this is slow. Is there any
3 episodes
weird
left.
predictions, John, that you have on the show?
I can't predict anywhere. Right now. I do hope to see the return of. We saw some of those droids come back. Moment of silence for that garbage droid. They got blown up for no apparent reason. Just minding his own business. But I want to see sous chef droid come back. I don't know if you guys watch these with the subtitles. But that one droid with all the knives that did like a Grievous, he's sous chef droid. And he was great. I want him back, but he got his head sliced off.
It probably could fix him. He
That was a
uh,
pretty cool scene though, like when she was slicing his throat, essentially. Yeah.
it's like, he's like, this is the only way she'll ever be able to do it as a human, but for this was great. But I think that droid was also in Clone, like episode 2. He was one of the robots that was actually serving the clones during on
I think they're just using this to build assets so they can continue making shows. This was very like, it felt like CSI, like to Rob's point, where they're just cranking stuff out, like that musical playback montage of the guy with the. Did you see the weird hand he puts on with the blade and all that?
Yeah.
And then he's like, they might as well have just played the CSI blah, blah, and then they're fixing Frantic, and then they zoom out. Like, I'm like, do we need to see? No. Is it here? Yes, it's here. Do I care? No, I don't care at all. But maybe some people enjoy that shit.
Yeah, it's weird because that guy is a famous, or I guess a famous musician. The guy that was the actor was Stephen, like Thundercat Burner. Like, he is like basically does I think that's the music. He does the soundtrack and he does like the beats. So that was basically like bringing like Diplo. Be like, Diplo, you're gonna have a battle droid hand. And you're like, okay, cool. And then we're gonna cut it off and you're gonna have a hand basically from like Fallout with Pit-Boy and like all the stuff. So it was a weird kind of like cool.
We're gonna borrow the hand we gave Stan Lee in Ragnarok, and we're gonna put it on your wrist.
100%. Can we talk about Jennifer Beals for a second? I really liked her in this episode. Like her dialogue was incredible. Like I thought that was the moment where like Boba Fett's like, I need to bring you in the fold. Like you need to be my like voice of Sauron. Like you should be the person that I hire her to like do all the negotiations, because that was awesome the way that she deal with BK, and then BK is like, I don't care, rip off arm. So
yeah, that was crazy, right? Yeah. I agree with you. Her delivery on that was just very like understated and very, calming, and it is kind of weird. Like Jennifer Beals is a known name. She's not an A-list actress right now. She's been out of the game for a bit, doing a bit more independent stuff, but she's got a rich pedigree.
Going back to the L Word
TV, right? So, so I am just kind of surprised that they're using her very sparingly, unless they have bigger plans, like you said, in the next few episodes to maybe bring her in. I don't know.
I think the article I read was that when they talked to her about it, and their kids found out, she's like, you're doing this. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like kind of one of these things where if you're an actor, you're doing this stuff because half the time, like her kids are not watching the L Word or the new L Word. Like she can't, like half the stuff they can't watch of hers. So it's kind of like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's like, I want to be Batman because I want to take my kids to watch a Batman movie. Like it doesn't happen.
So I'm going to take them to Batman versus Superman because it's rated R. But yeah, sure.
Well, at this standpoint, like, I would try to take them to a movie that they could watch.
Or Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
but like one of those things where half these actors now, whether it's kid films or whatever, they want cred with their kids. I think Rob is. As you are a elder statesman in the world of being a father, you have a couple kids, and there'll be a time and day where you might want to do stuff to get some street cred because.
Oh, this is what this is, isn't it? Isn't that what this is for this show? And the sidekick, like, isn't this is? I think I'm doing it because I like you guys. I'm doing it to get cred with my kids.
How's it working for you?
I'm still with you guys, right? Right.
How about what if you told them that Venice?
Well, it would be over at that point. They would,
the real Venice.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Let's get his TikTok and we'll do dances." And I'm like, "All right."
Will the real Venice please stand up? Please stand up. John, what do you think of Jennifer Beals? Do you think they're wasting her at this standpoint, or is she just sprinkling her
with this actress at all? I thought you guys were saying Jessica Biel funny, but I don't know this girl. Right. She looks good. She plays it well. She is one of the interesting characters in this show, of some characters that are just blah. So yeah, sure.
I have a prediction, Stu. I have a prediction. You asked for weird predictions. I'm gonna give you a weird one, and it's likely not going to come to fruition. However, by the end of this episode, I think Fennec sets herself up to be the new, like, she cuts Boba Fett. She gets rid of him, uses him. She ascends to the throne.
Interesting. Huh. I can see her taking it because Boba Fett's like, I want to be with the Tusken Raiders. Like this is not my jam. Like I need to go into the sand and like hang out with those people. So it'd be interesting if that was.
They have too many face characters now that they're not going to mess with them. You know what I mean? So there's no crazy twist or anything that's going to happen at the end. This ain't.
The twist is Harrison Ford shows up and he's curmudgeoned and he's like and shoots people in the face.
What do you mean Boba Fett's alive?
He climbed out of the bottom of the Sarlacc pit as well.
No, he did. He's alive, and him and Chewie show up, and he yells "McClunky" and just starts shooting people down left, right, and center. And then you're like, "Oh snap! It's the Boba Fett. It's the Mandalorian. It's Han Solo just taking people down."
Right, because this would take place before the events of Force Awakens. So
or maybe it's not Harrison Ford, but the actor that played Harrison Ford aged up instead.
Solo?
Yeah,
maybe the guy from Solo.
Maybe the guy from Solo. So
I don't think that guy's working.
Everyone's working. Rob,
not that guy.
Dude, Hayden Christensen's coming back, and let's just say Hayden Christensen wasn't working either until Star Wars is like, we'll come back. And he's like, I'll take that check.
I think Rachel Bilson's like, okay, it's really cold in Toronto. Can we please move back?
Oh, they've been together for a long time, man.
Oh no, I thought he was married.
No. The gossip is that they broke up. Then she started dating Bill Hader, and then Bill Hader and her were together for like a year and a bit, and then they broke up. And now Bill Hader is dating the girl from that acapella movie, John, your Pitch Perfect. What's her name?
Oh yeah. It's Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick, yeah. So now they're a secret item for the past year. But yeah, this is
Oh yeah, you're right. Rachel Bills, they broke up in 2017. Oh, what the hell do I know?
You don't know, man. You don't
No.
know the goss. This is it. This is why you come to this podcast. So Stu can
Got a
tell you
new
what's
show.
going on.
She's a doctor or something, right?
No, that's a different one. That's One Tree Hill.
Oh, that's Sophia Bush. Yeah.
Sophia Hills. Yes, that's
They're
doing a One
Rachel
Tree
Bliss
Hill.
did from. Are
Sorry?
they doing a One Tree Hill? remake?
OC, man. John, I don't even know you anymore. What?
California.
God. Yeah, on they're doing a reunion with Hillary Burton and the other. Yeah, they're doing all three of them joining back together on an episode of Good Sam. Yeah, that's the thing that's happening.
Oh, no Chad Michael Murray though, right?
Chad Michael Murray was busy on a bunch of other things. Really, he should go back to being Tristan on Gilmore Girls.
So hey
Rob,
guys,
put a hand up.
this is the third week in a row on a Boba Fett review where we've gone on a tangent about a whole bunch of other things that have nothing to do with Boba Fett, and that just shows that just shows what our thoughts are on this show.
I just think that we're very knowledgeable on different subject matter, and we're just sharing with the audience that we know
Right.
stuff. So
Yeah.
we can be the source. So thank you.
Yeah,
anyways.
I'm glad some. I don't know who likes it, but I'm glad some people like it if they do.
It's for the kids,
You know?
man. It's for the
And
kids.
I don't want
even
it like undone or anything. It's just
No,
it's,
no.
It's
Even-
just not
even that-
capturing me as
even that
much as
mouse-
Mandalorian.
even that mouse droid that was running around catching the mice was from
Yeah.
Clone Wars, the cartoon show.
Right.
So this was a thing that they had, and they brought the cartoon, and it's real life now. So it is what
can
it
I
is.
ask a question before we go? Is this a show though? Like, I know Stu, you're gonna say yes. So more, I guess, for John. If it wasn't for us reviewing each week, would you be watching this show anymore?
Even though Ming Na is my girl, she was also on that show Agents of Shield, and I could give two shits about it. I tried watching that show. I couldn't get into it, and she was super badass in that, and I couldn't do it. So if we weren't doing this, this week, I was like, I told these guys, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to fit this in, because I want to catch up on Ozark. Ozark season 4 dropped today or something.
Part one.
Oh, they're splitting it into 2 parts. Okay, I gotta catch up.
So you don't have to
So
worry.
yeah, like there's plenty of stuff like I would rather watch. And like I said earlier, if you said, hey, you want to rewatch some Mandalorian episodes or you want to watch this, I'm gonna turn on Mandalorian. But that might just because you go to something you liked, but I don't know. For some reason it's just not hitting. It might, maybe the next 3 episodes might get
The 3 because
Yeah.
it's the most actiony, and this was the most like.
Yeah, I want to see the crime thing. I want to see when he sat down in that chair and was like, basically, I'm the what's the term they use, Daimo or something like that.
Daimo, yeah.
I'm like the head dude or whatever. I want to see that, and they keep dancing around it. So I'm thankful that we didn't get 7 minutes of current continuity in this episode, and then like the entire thing was flashback. We kind of got like a reverse version of it. But yeah.
I think the next 3 episodes are really going to be the strong indicator of where this show fits in the pantheon. Like, again,
But
I think Rob said it very well.
It's just maybe not for us. I'm sure some people are enjoying it.
I think
the CSI like Star Wars.
John, outside of the new CSI, I think this one is a little more theoretically focused because it's only a smaller amount of episodes compared to 22 episodes. It looks incredible. It doesn't look like some of the CW shows that we are used to, or frankly, even the Amazon shows like A Wheel of Time, or half the science fiction shows are coming out. Like the Star Wars stuff is consistently good. My fear is that this Amazon Lord of the Rings show, The Power of the Ring, is going to look cheap because every other show compared to this looks cheap. Like it's the nature of it, because Disney's dropping big money on every one of this. Even watching Peacemaker is a fine show, but they use real life locations, so they don't have to make it look science fictiony. And even I look back at the last episode where they made that like green door, I'm like, it looks so cheap. I'm like, guys, can you do something better? This like green force field I get through. I'm like, it looks so ghetto. Like it looks cheap. I'm like, I couldn't get my mind across it. Like, they
It
can't
could have
break
looked much
through.
worse.
Sorry?
It could have looked much worse.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, I guess like you spent your money. I'm like, and even the room and the peacemaker with like the artificial thing, I'm like, okay, like I guess you're spending your money on other things. Like, so I'm like, hopefully it'll be bigger things. So I would say that the money is spent well, and I want to see where this goes at the end of it, because maybe it could lead to something better, or we'll learn a lesson. We'll
That's
see.
their formula. That's how they're getting used to. That's how they're getting all of us.
That's it's a thing. Like every time I say I don't like it, and every time we're like these Marvel shows, and then they give us, I love, as you know, we all loved Hawkeye. We're like, oh man, that's great, and we know a bunch of people who hated Hawkeye, and then now everyone's like, forget Hawkeye. Moon Knight. We all watched the Moon Knight trailer, and we're like, oh, we're back in, baby, Moon Knight. So every time they, as a great quote say, that they pull me out, they pull me back in. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. So we'll see. Rob, I know you feel like you don't want to watch it anymore, but
I'll stick it out. But it
You're at the
is.
end.
I have to be honest. It is a chore.
It is.
John says we said it, and John said it again today. There's a shit ton of other things that I would rather be spending my time watching, but it's 46 minutes. Okay.
And John, to the other point, at least Ming Na is majority in this show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she was like a bit player. She's like, there's an ensemble of like 6 or 8 people plus villain of the week plus stuff. Like this is a lot of Ming Na. Like it's basically Ming Na and Timo Morrison like as the 2 people, and then everyone else is kind of sprinkled in. So this is all you could almost say it's the Fennec show, because it's like the 2 build. There's only 2 people build in this entire show. It's Ming Na and Timo Morrison. That's it. And Ming Na does all the speaking. So this is basically her show. So we'll see. All right. Thank you for joining us today. John, where can they find you on the internet and in the desert?
Heroes World Online will take you to all our social medias. Link will be in the description of this YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on the audio. The links are all there for you to follow and find our physical location located in Markham, Ontario. Drop by. We got tons and tons of fun stuff. Here's World Podcast on the audio. If you're not listening to the audio, it's great. You can take us on the go and listen to Rob at 1.5 speed, which is my preferred method. If there was a button right now, I'd press it. He's not going at 1.5 speed. All right, sorry, folks.
Thanks, Venice. Rob, what can we put on the Sidekick Show this week?
Oh boy,
Do you have a mystery guest that's going to join you?
No, yes, I do. So unfortunately, my sidekick on the Sidekick Show, appropriately named, on Mondays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, my normal sidekick, John, is not going to be with us. So I'll have a special sidekick and a special co-host, Venice. Venice will be joining me, and we are doing we're going back to the 90s, ladies and gents. We're going back to the 90s and checking out what is the greatest action movie of all time. We are in the middle of our bracket. This week it is Last Action Hero. No, sorry, it's the Last Boy Scout. It's the last. You're not going to be here this week, anyways. It's the Last Boy Scout going up against Hard Target. The Last Boy Scout you can catch on Netflix if you want. Hard Target, you don't need to watch it. We're gonna be running.
Scout is on Crave.
Whoa, you don't have to watch it.
Oh wait, Last Boy Scout, you're right, is on Crave via the Stars extension. Yeah,
Hard Target you should own because it's a classic.
John, if I'm gonna go stupid Jean-Claude Van Damme movies of action, I'm going Sudden Death above Hard Target.
You going over the Die Hard clone?
It takes place in Pittsburgh. Hello, it's the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, it's more up your it's more up your alley. But Jean-Claude Van Damme, Nancy Butler, John Woo. You can't
freaking Pittsburgh Penguins, the Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup Final. So much so that he has to go and play hockey. He goes in and plays.
What do you think the odds are that he actually would save that shot?
And then he saves the shot ridiculously, like in the cameo by Luc Robitaille, and he's like, "Ask the daughter, do you think they'll win?" And I'm just laughing, like the French. I'm like, "Of course." Luc Robitaille.
Unfortunately, we're not reviewing that movie. We're reviewing The Last Boy Scout and Hard Target. Last Boy Scout is on Crave on the Stars extension, a hard target. You can rent it. Anyways, join us as we review or rewatch those movies and discuss them to see which advances in our bracket. That's Monday night, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
Let us know your thoughts on this episode. Let us know we're right or we're wrong. I expect a lot of movement from Venice about letting us know that John is correct. So give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think of the episode.
Let us know. Like interested.
Yeah, man. I want to know.
If you're digging it, I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm sure Venice is going to talk about it in the chat. So thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you later. Have a good one.
See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.